I do some work with the Mayo Clinic. I'm on their social media advisory board. And there was a video that a woman shot in the Mayo Clinic atrium in Rochester, Minnesota, that sat on her personal YouTube account with about 100 views for about a year and a half. And it was of an elderly couple who had been vaudevillians playing the piano in the atrium. The Mayo Clinic found it and just said, this is cool, it was shot in our atrium, we're not one of those hospitals that blocks the piano, anybody can play it. So they put it on the Mayo Clinic blog. Today it has over 2 million views. So my question is, and I'll start with you and then get the views of everybody else, is a component of getting a video to go viral, getting exposure through some channel that more people are paying attention to? Is that required?
Sure. I think it's just evolution of YouTube platform. What happened was back in the early days, there wasn't so much content being uploaded to it. So if you produce some really authentic, really high quality, really engaging content, people would take notice and they would start sharing it, and even the site would feature you on the front page. And sometimes we get clients who want to promote like a Vimeo video or some other platform. And what I find very fascinating with other platforms is just there's so much less competition, and if you produce really high quality content, you actually get even more exposure on other platforms than YouTube. But then again, YouTube is by far the largest video content site. So if you could get to be one of the top videos there, you're going to see a huge amplification of that. In my opinion, again, like video content is so different, right? Like you have Harlem Shake that kind of like resonates with the younger crowd and became a huge meme, and then you have someone who's like trying to sell, I don't know, like not even a video game, but like some very, very specific, like a high-tech product that caters to the audience of 45 years and older, or something like that. The audience for each one is so different, and like it's coming to a client and saying, "Oh, you're gonna get, we're gonna get you 5 million views for this." Is just, I mean, they don't need 5 million views. What they need is people who are gonna find their content interesting. And besides the views, like that's where we're migrating. I guess we'll get to this later in the panel. Is you have real people watching your video. What do you actually want them to do after they watch your video? Getting a view on YouTube is cool, but getting in Billboard Top 100 if you're a musician is much cooler. And that's one thing that I guess we help our clients realize is, you want to target the right audience that's going to find your content interesting in terms of the age, interests, and likes, or things that they like. But also, what is your end goal with this video? In the end of the day, we treat video as a form of marketing, as a form of advertising, and we see just beyond the view, beyond just someone watching this. What do you want them to do?
Great. David, you want to take up?
Yeah, and I'm glad actually you brought that up, because that's a thing I'm kind of passionate about with people's obsession of viral videos. Is the only reason I think you would want just nothing but tons of view counts is if you're selling advertising against the view counts. That's the only reason you should want that. But the ultimate goal is, what is it you want people to do afterwards? I mean, the majority of the videos that we create do not go viral because they are for a very B2B audience, but literally low view counts seen by a very specific audience that then do something is huge to us, because sometimes our clients, because we're going B2B, you get one person to click over, that's a 6-figure sale. That's a lot more money you're going to make from selling ads against a video that makes millions of views. So that's just sort of something you need to generally understand. But we are talking about viral videos, and we were talking about what makes something viral, if that is your ultimate goal to do that. And I love your example of the share to view ratio, which I think is pretty much spot on, because if you can get someone to watch it and then share it, that's the action you want them to take to make it go viral. But if what you want is them to watch it and then go to your site and do something or sign up for something. I was actually just telling a woman earlier that this company ice.com had this great campaign where, and it didn't go viral, but they got like in the low thousands of views, where they just interviewed B-level celebrities to talk about giving gifts to their mothers on Mother's Day, and this site sells jewelry. Well, they had a call to action in their video which said, sign up for our mailing list and you could win, $5,000 shopping spree for jewelry. They got 2,000 people to sign up for the list, actually converted it to a certain number of sales that made them a lot of money. you know, the VP of marketing is the one who did all the interviews, cost them in the hundreds of dollars to do this, but they actually had a call to action, they had a purpose of it. So the whole thing is your goal to sell advertising against it? Then yes, just go for as many views as you want. But if your goal is something different, then you actually have to sort of build a call to action, or build maybe a lot of the videos we do is just about building relationships with the people I interview. And like Shel was saying, I've interviewed Shel a bunch of times. Shel and I know each other very well. I have a good relationship with Shel, and the clients that I shoot for also have a good relationship with Shel as well.
Hey, Bing?
I think to go back to the original question, the ultimate one answer ultimately comes down to discovery, right? And so to the question, is it critical or even necessary to have a tastemaker like a Jimmy Kimmel, like an Ellen DeGeneres, like a Tosh Bueno, like an Ashton Kutcher, whoever your flavor of choice is? The answer is it's not critical, but it certainly accelerates the discovery process. As Alex and Mote were saying earlier, even if you didn't get a Jimmy Kimmel, but let's say you love Minecraft, let's say, who's the most famous player in Minecraft right now? I know I should know this. Let's call him Minelord. So let's say Minelord is a 16-year-old young man in Minnesota who loves Minecraft. If you get him to promote your video, he effectively is the equivalent of a Jimmy Kimmel, though he may not have as much broad cachet in your niche and in your cult that is very vibrant, he matters, right? So I think it's ultimately a discovery question. It's one piece of the overall pie. In terms of the goals earlier that were articulated by my peers, fully agree. There is a spectrum, as with everything, of engagement with viral videos. On the one side, to be binary, there are shallow sort of success metrics of view, right? You watch, low maintenance, lean back, no commitment, right? Unless you feel like you're a snowflake in the world, then 3 seconds of your life is not a huge deal, right? On the opposite side is exactly what they're saying. It's some sort of transaction. Now, the transaction can be, again, a bit shallower, like signing up for a listserv, or it can be even deeper, like filming your own Harlem Shake video, which evangelizes the music and also, potentially pockets more money for the label, right? So there's also a spectrum in terms of success metrics that you look at, and then even within each success metric, like a monetary transaction, there are several different dimensions there depending on who you are.
I just wanted to back up Bang on the discovery and how important that is. That's what we're always looking for when we kick off a project. The internet is noisy and full of all sorts of content. In order to get above the white noise, you have to have those key discovery events. Otherwise, your video is going to kind of just float into the ether. And so when we're launching we launched a project this week for Kimpton Hotels as our client, and this was a video featuring a talking yoga mat. And what we did is we thought, what are our key discovery events when we launched this video? We thought about press, so we got the video on Ad Age, we got the video in Fast Company, we thought about influencers like Bing was just talking about, so we really thought about the world of yoga, since this was a video all about yoga, and we targeted all the key yoga influencers and got a certain percentage of them to post the video. So at that point, you're basically rising your content above the white noise. After you do that, it's really incumbent on the content itself. How good is the video? How good is the content? How much does it resonate with your audience in order to take it to the next level?
Well, the quality of a lot of the videos that have gone viral, not ones that have been produced for commercial purposes, just, Charlie bit my finger, for example, the quality is terrible. These are things that would have been shown on 8mm projectors 35 years ago. When people come over for dinner and go, oh my God, I have to watch the home films, the home movies. Is there a better chance of getting a response if it seems authentic and amateurish like that, or can really slick videos resonate with an audience in that same way? Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, so the question, I guess, is this an art or is this a science, right? Like Charlie bit my finger, there's not much science to it. Someone just filmed their kid and he kind of was funny, and it seems like more of an art form to create some content like that. Yet, there is a great video, you guys should check it out, called the Aura Brush, which I think is one of the most successful commercial video projects on YouTube, which sells these like tongue cleaners. How they produced the video was completely scientific, because what they've done is they've taken, I think they took something like 100 clips, you're probably more familiar with this. But basically they took a lot of different videos, and every time they would show it to a certain audience on YouTube, they would look at it, where the engagement would drop off. And they would try to figure out what they did right and what they did wrong. And after many, many, many takes, they got it so that a 2-minute clip was extremely engaging. It's like every 5 seconds, something changes and you just can't lose focus. The video was a great success for them. It was probably one of the best viral videos for a product. that then sold millions of units as a result of this video going viral. And it was a completely scientific process for how they created it. So it's a very interesting kind of creation on YouTube that didn't happen by chance, but actually happened through scientific discovery. So for you guys, as you create your own video content, I think looking at YouTube analytics, you can actually see where your engagement drops off, and you can kind of beta test and create new content and see what can drive up those numbers. And after a while, I think you can get it to the point where your content is extremely engaging.
So 2 things to add. Does anyone know what the most viral video in all of history is? Virality in this case measured by just volume of views. Does anyone know? It's Gangnam Style, right? 1 billion plus, and actually it's approaching 2, right? Gangnam Style is heavily produced from a major music label in Korea. It is beautiful for those of you who have not seen it. There are at least 5 sets. Zach is a better expert in this than I am. At least 5 sets. And it is a arguably premium song, right? He's now signed to Scooter Braun. Gentleman is now the 2nd most viral video in terms of views within a certain period of time, so forth and so on. I invoke this example because I think there is a perception that a lot of videos that have gone viral, as it were, are low quality. And the reality is, I think to an element there is truth there, but there are still so many different viral videos that are very, very well produced. In fact, if you look at the top 10 most viewed videos last year on YouTube, most of them are actually commercially produced. And so there is something to be said for quality and all that. The second thing I would say is, and let me preface this by saying, because we are a platform, we actually do not sort of curate the platform actively and so forth. But in terms of quality, something that I've noticed is a lot of our top YouTube personalities are people like Jenna Marbles. Who watches Jenna Marbles? Jenna is a 20-something, I won't reveal a lady's age, but 20-something, beautiful young lady. Her videos look like crap, right? They literally look like they were filmed on a webcam. And that's sort of the point, because she's hilarious, right? And so something that we've learned is, how does someone like that get 8 million fans and subscribers on YouTube, yet, again, by traditional standards, look like crap? And one of the reasons why is we think some people believe that quality is in the eye of the beholder. Quality no longer means a modicum of production style, a cohesive narrative and plot, and some punchline at the end. To many people, quality is very much in the eye of the beholder. How much can I engage with that video? How much does that speak to me as a human being? How much does this balance out my day? Maybe I'm tired of watching stuff that looks scripted. I want something a little, looser, right? So I suppose I'd add those 2 points. One is, again, viral content can absolutely be highly produced and commercial, and is. And then the second one is, to some people at least, quality is certainly in the eye of the beholder.
Zach?
I just wanted to add that YouTube as a platform has changed so much, and it's constantly changing, but it's changed so much over the last few years. We started our experimenting on YouTube in 2006 with a video that my business partner Nate made called Ghost Ride the Volvo. And that is one of the, production-wise, one of the ugliest videos you'll ever see, but it was also one of the earliest viral videos on YouTube. And that was completely DIY, do-it-yourself, like much more in the vein of Charlie Bit My Finger. And as YouTube as a platform has matured over time and kind of and recently invested in more professional content, the ecosystem has changed. So it's still a mix of Charlie Bit My Finger type content and Gangnam Style type content, but either one can explode. It's not one or the other.
David, one of the things that we haven't talked about is that people share videos, or also the title of a video, which is very key, because they want to associate themselves with it. People share videos to build often their own personal brand or corporate brand. And so if, talking about the authentic nature, whether it's professional looking or not, do I think this is funny? Do I think this is clever? Do I think this will be of value to my audience? Do I want to be associated to this? People will share videos for that matter. So often, producing a video means, is this something people will want to identify with and make it a part of their audience, their community as well? It's like, I'm a parent, I think Charlie Bit My Finger is funny, so I would want to share it as well. Probably, I'm just going to guess, more parents shared that video than anybody else. And so, and then the other thing, and I'm going to just throw this out to the crowd because I wrote an article about this, there's another phenomenon that happens, which is sometimes you get more shares. This doesn't happen often, but I did actually delve into a lot of research on this, more shares and views. And this is a weird phenomenon that happens sometimes when people just want to be associated with the title of something rather than the actual content of it. And it's very strange and very weird, but it's because people sometimes share, and this, not sometimes, it happens a lot, and more so in articles too, will share instead of consuming because they just want to build their brand based on the title of your content, and this happens a lot. And sometimes you can just build a viral video just on that because people want to share the title of your content.